Here's your Game Week 9 FPL review. Very low point scoring week across the board, low average this week in FPL. Stay tuned to the very end. I'll be telling you how I did, who scored me points, etc. My thoughts now, transfer plans going into Game Week 10. Stay tuned to the end. If you're new, please like and subscribe to the channel. So on screen you can see I got 40.6 below the average with 46. I don't know about you, but what stands out to me straight away is Mickey van der Ven on my bench. 23 points. That is just like dramatic. We talk about dramatic swings in FPL, and you know me, I get annoyed over losing 2 points here, 4 points there. 23 points. That's crazy, and I never even thought about going with Van der Ven, because I think Everton's a track for me. Really pulled me in this week, even as a Spurs fan. But even like for me, it was a toss-up between Togarski or Konsa. That's a 7-point swing. So for me, I think overall in that squad, considering the low average week, that's really good. If you add up all the points on my bench, I've got quite a few high point scorers, but I've just used them wrong. I captained the wrong person again and got benching decisions wrong. Honestly, that's my story in FPL. I can have the greatest team, but I don't use them in the right way. Goalkeeping swing, a couple of points in it. Castillo Sunderland, I don't necessarily know why. I think it's got to do with the saves, because they both concede one goal. Porro for Tottenham, keeping a clean sheet and getting an assist. That was big to keep him in there. Gay against Arsenal. I never thought the Palace would keep a clean sheet, even though they're defensively good. Could he get an attacking return? Same for Togarski. Neither of them could. Then midfield, I was heavily reliant on them dying. Grealish to do well. Everton against my own club, Tottenham, which I'm glad they haven't. Let me be clear about that. And then I thought, caveat that, let's cover all grounds here. Mohamed Kudus is a top player, but even though he nearly got an assist, but Bentacle got a little knock on. Yeah, it was goal involvement for Kudus rather than an assist. Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United, I made it clear, he's just in here for the short term. He's going to come out in the long term. He's only in the lineup because Semenyo I didn't think would score. Well, I didn't think I'd get points against Forest, and he didn't, did he? So I did get that bit right, I suppose. So midfield and defence, apart from Porro, it's completely letting me down. Then talk about let me down. Haaland, not good for him at all, and it was a frustrating day, which I had a feeling it could be for Man City. Ultimate hit the post, very unlucky not to score. Of course, captained him. That's a big difference. And Strand Larson, played the long game with him, and he finally did get an attacking return. What was still an awful game, awful result rather for Wolves. It did look better. They went 2-0 behind, and then they fought, but still they go back to 2-2, and probably unlucky not to win it. They end up losing the game, which for frustration of the Wolves fans inside Molineux. But the bench for me is where the points are in here. I'm not the quickest at maths, so I'm not going to even try and work it out, because it's going to be humiliating. Not just the fact that I probably can't work it out, but more the fact that how many points I would actually get if I made some better decisions. So hugely frustrating. So let's say where I am. Every single league, and I mean every single league that I'm in, I've gone down or stayed the same. Okay, there's some I've stayed the same. In a couple of the smaller leagues, I've stayed the same. Overall then 4.7 million. I can't exactly remember what it was, but that's not, a good place. But in terms of transfer plans for me, I've got 2 transfers going into next week. Of course, we need to wait and see in the Carabao Cup who gets injured. No Europe, so hopefully a few less will be playing. But at the same time, there's a lot of teams in the Carabao Cup. There are a few English clubs that have got knocked out, but I won't be making any transfers till I know that I don't want to bring a player in that get injured, put it that way. I want to bring in players that I know are fit, more likely to start the game. So I need to get me thinking cap on, but I do plan at this current moment to use at least 1, probably 2 of those transfers. I look at Strand Larson and Wolves' form, even though we did get a return, and I look at Bruno Fernandes and think, I've got to do something here. I don't think there's anything drastic I need to do, because I've got a very good squad. There's just a couple that stick out in it and still thumbs at the moment that aren't consistently not doing well. Fernandes is the peak of that, but Strand Larson as well. I know he got that goal, but it was from the spot, and Wolves still don't look great. It wasn't a convincing penalty to me anyway either. So yeah, 40 points to me. Let me know if you beat me in the comments below. But transfer plans at the moment, I'm thinking it's difficult. If I just briefly have a look, because of course prices change. That's something you've got to be considerate of. So I was considering So Strand Larsen out, and looking at the strikers here, I was thinking potentially Mateta because of the run. So my plan would be to go to Mateta, but that leaves me with negative 1.1 in budget. So bringing Bruno Fernandes out, currently priced at 8.9 million. That leaves me with just 7.8 million in the bank because, of course, in depth from that first transfer. So that leaves me with limited options. I was thinking someone like Mateus Cunha, which I can't quite afford, actually 0.1 over, but Gakpo is an option. So I'm not 100% sure the player I bring in for Fernandes. That's why I didn't do it this week, so I wasn't 100% sure who's the right player to bring in. So that's something I need to look at. I need to evaluate. I was thinking originally someone like Doku, but he isn't going to really get the starts consistently because that's the way that Pep's like. You can't really rely on Pep to start players. Anyone that's probably got a guaranteed start is Donnarumma and Erling Haaland, I think it'd be fair to say. So second one is difficult. I need to really look at options. Maybe someone a bit bolder like Dango Atara for Brentford. But I'm convinced of going Strand Larsen to Mateta, but I need to find a way to save money and bring Bruno Fernandes out because I've got a lot of good midfielders. Grealish and Dye, Semenya, Kudus, I've got all these midfielders you'd probably think I could replace with. So 40 points for me, below the average by 6. Did you beat me this week? That's your FPL Game Week 9 review. But come back for the Game Week 10 preview where I'll be telling you what my latest plans are, what I have done, what I will do, how I'm going to captain, and what my side's looking like formation-wise and personnel-wise. Thank you very much. I hope you had a good week. If you didn't and did, either way, let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe if you do.